This week on Learning by Doing, I visit the very remote Mayalibit Bay, more specifically Warimak village, where I organised for the kids an art competition. Raja Ampat is considered to be relatively wealthy, with a lot of money coming in from the dive tourism industry. Mayalibit Bay, on the other hand, is very poor. Especially the four villages in the northern end. Mayalibit Bay is only about 10 metres deep, is full of crocodiles, murky water, and because of that there is basically no tourism. So the people who live in the four northern villages are basically self-sufficient with no income from tourism dollars. This is just what I want to see. So Mayalibit Bay had been on my list of places to visit for a while, and opportunity came knocking in the form of Priscilla, a girl I'd met in Sarong. She contacted me and told me she would be spending a couple of weeks at Warimak village, volunteering in the local school there. So I sailed up there. Mayalibit Bay looks like a big lake, but there's actually a small little entrance on the southern end. It only took me a day to sail from Waisai up to Warimak. So I'd had this idea for quite a while, and while I was still in Zurich, I stocked up on a bunch of good paper, crayons, colouring pencils, and a couple of sets of watercolours. My idea was to go to a remote school that really doesn't do arts and crafts, it's not in their curriculum, and get them all to paint a picture. Just something that that inspired them locally. Maybe it was a mountain or a bird or something around their village. And what I would do would be to pick a winner from this school and put their art on a t-shirt and sell it in my Teespring collection. And then hopefully some of you great generous people out there that support this channel will go and buy this t-shirt. And my plan is that I'll just take 100% of that money that comes from those t-shirts and take it back to this school. I realized obviously that language barriers are a bit of a problem, and how was I going to explain this to a headmaster or teachers at a school? And Priscilla, it just worked out perfectly because she speaks good English and she really liked my idea from the get-go. And so when I got there, she explained it to the headmaster, and yeah, he's a pretty straight and narrow guy, but yeah, I guess he got out of a whole day's teaching, so he was probably stoked. And so once he'd explained to the kids wrapped their head around it, and they got stuck in, and man, they loved every minute of it. It was only supposed to go 2 hours, and it actually ended up being the whole day. So, big success.
Gambar yang bagus, oke? Dan gambar rumah sama-sama punya masing-masing punya gemar. Gambar apa? Tahu gemar?
So the kids split off into groups. They're on the floor, outside on the concrete, they're on the desks, and some of them took a long time to get going just because they didn't really know what to do and how to begin. But they all sort of looked at each other, over each other's shoulders, and they sort of slowly got going. And there were some that obviously, had a better talent for it right away, but they all loved it. There was a world map hanging on the wall, and 4 or 5 of the kids, I think, just drew their favourite flags, which I totally understand. I was terrible as a kid in art class, and it still surprises me to this day that I make a living from doing something artistic. So after a few extensions of the time limit, Priscilla called a halt to the proceedings, and she had them all stand up and explain their work, their motive, and why they drew it. The kids were really shy, actually. Funny to see because it's a small town, they would know each other. I think it was just because they were really doing something different. But it was really cool to see, and they were really proud of their work, and it was an awesome experience for me and for them, I think. And then at the end they were all collected, and I took them back to my boat for a final assessment. The next day was Wednesday, and only do half a day of school, and a bunch of the kids asked me to come with them up to the swimming hole in the river. It's about an hour's walk through the most amazing pristine jungle. It was really, really amazing to watch these little kids who just basically grow up there. They're all carrying machetes, and they just know everything about the jungle. They're pointing up in trees, and it would take me 2 minutes to see there was a beehive or a special sort of parrot, or they were eating berries, and they were collecting things and finding pineapples just growing wild, and it was crazy and a real experience for me. So they cut this little tree that's sort of like a vine, and it's full of this special water. They just cut it and tip it up, and then they just drink it.
Hah? Asik sekali. Mana aku terputus gampang enak. Ini nak. Masih ada. Palido.
Palido.
Iya. Bahasa Indonesia palido.
The reason they go up to this river is because they can't swim in the bay itself. 4 people have been killed there this year alone from crocodiles, and they just don't go near the salt water, basically. They don't even get their feet wet. So they go up there to this beautiful river and swim. I guess they go up there pretty often. The reason I first got my boat was not for pure joy of sailing, although I do love it. It's more that I can get to these sorts of places, experience these sorts of things, see these cultures, the joy, the love they have, and just their pure, simple way of living. I really hope I can continue to live these sorts of things, make these experiences, and I really hope I can continue to keep bringing these things to your screens wherever you are in the world, So you can see and relate a little bit to how these people on the other side of the world live. So I've made my final choice for the winner of the t-shirt design competition, and it was Miss Juli Kandi. For her depiction of the biggest mountain around here, it's called Nok. From the village it's just one peak, but viewed from the north it's actually two peaks, and up on these two peaks there are very many special orchids to be found, especially a blue one which is only found right here. So she drew these orchids all over this mountain, and one of the big parrots that also lives up there. So she's the winner, and I'll put this on a t-shirt and I'll put it in the Teespring web shop, which is linked to below. 100% of profits will go to this school here behind me, and these kids. There's about 60 kids that go to school here from first grade through to 6th grade, and they're all so good, they're so cool, they're so keen to learn. They don't have art in their curriculum, so a lot of them had never painted before, but I gave them a set of watercolors and paper, and they just took to it and loved it, you know. Like I've left it here with them, and when I gave it to them, some of the kids were crying, and they're super stoked just to have some outside influence and do something different. And it was a real cool experience for me to be here and do this, and I'm looking forward to your reaction, and then hopefully some of you will go and buy this t-shirt and support this little school. It's a direct way of supporting it, but you know, supporting things through charities, only a fraction of your money actually goes to the charity, whereas this way 100% of the profits of this t-shirt will go to this school. I'll return here next year and bring some t-shirts with the design to give to Julie, and also to bring the money to them, and I'll just hand over cash to them and they'll do what they will with it. Hopefully they'll get some new books and some new painting equipment. That would be cool. Anyway, thanks for watching. I hope you can appreciate this school here and what I'm trying to do in order to help them a little bit, and support it too if you can afford it in any way. Thanks again to all my patrons. There's a few more coming on board, as I'm a little bit behind on these videos now. I can't say exactly who it is right now, but I obviously am writing them in the end in the credits here and highlighting the new ones. Thank you so much for coming aboard. I appreciate every donation, big and small, and I hope you continue to enjoy my videos. See you in 2 weeks. Bye bye.